well, we're going to get started. Thank you, everyone, this evening for joining us. This is part of the FDIC Money Smart program that was created in conjunction with the U.S. Small Business Administration. So really what we're going to be talking about is planning for a healthy business. So we're going to introduce some new concepts for you this evening, and we're going to give you some fictitious scenarios to give you connect real world to the theories that we're going to cover this evening. So I don't know if you've received participation guides, but for a pre-test, so we have pre and post-test forms at the back of the participation guide. If you want to complete before the training to assess your knowledge of this topic, feel free to do so, or you can do that another time and we can continue. So this evening, the agenda is, welcome. We'll have a pre-test. We're going to talk about the learning objectives. We'll have case study, specifically Sophia's planning process. Then we'll be doing introductions. Where are you in your planning process? And then introductions to some theories. There's the four-step planning model, and then we'll do a summary. And then if you like, a post-test and an evaluation. Next slide. So the learning objectives. This is where we're going to explain how to evolve planning processes can help you make key decisions as a business owner. We will describe how to convert a vague idea into a resource plan. Explain the importance of a healthy personal credit score and the healthy relationship with lenders. We'll also describe how a business plan helps motivate stakeholders to understand and support your business ideas. Then we'll explain the benefits of creating a day-to-day action for running a small business. Next slide. So here we're going to introduce Sophia. If you have the participation guide, you can see it on page 4. So Sophia has a great idea now, but she doesn't know what to do. So how can Sophia make her new cell phone repair business a success? She will complete 4 planning steps over a 2-year period. As her business grows, her planning approach will change. And as we review Sophia's planning process, she can relate the 4 planning steps to your business. Next slide. So you have to think, where are you in your planning? If you completed the worksheet on page 5 of your participation guide, so for each planning stage, you record if you have completed it and if you're working on it or if you've not started yet. Realize that there's no wrong answers in the participation guide, and then you can introduce yourself and share your planning stage. Next slide. So we have what's called the 4-step planning model. Again, if you have the participation guide, it would be page 6. So step 1 is that what they call back of the napkin plan. This is go or no go. So here you would do preliminary research and planning, thinking about your business, what you want to do. You might do a self-assessment. Is business ownership a good fit for you? Whether that's your current lifestyle or financial situation. Then you realize with step 2, what's the resource plan? What do I need to go? So you'll create an opening balance sheet. That's you're looking at your assets, you're looking at your cash flow, you're looking at your investments. Then you begin a long-term relationship with a banker. Step 3, that's the business plan. How will I finance my business? So you have to do more research, you have to do planning, you have to come up with detailed financials. Detailed financials, you're looking at financial modeling, projections, what is going to be your sales, what are going to be your costs. Then you can collaborate with bankers and investors. Step 4, this is really the action plan. How will I manage a healthy business? So you update a living document that changes with the times. So that's going to be your financial statements. That's going to be your balance sheet, your income statement, your cash flow statement. If you're doing modeling, things like that. Next slide. So again, Sophia's planning process. So this is an example of a business process, and your business and process timing may differ. So you see that she did back of the napkin planning. Year one, Sophia works her full-time day job and she does resource planning. Then she's looking at her business plan that she's created. She's trying to improve your credit score. The higher your credit score is, that gives you the ability to not only borrow more, but also borrow more money at a lower interest rate. So year two, Sophie's working part-time at her job and she's working part-time for herself. And then you realize that she has an action plan, and that's when Sophie starts working full-time for herself. So she was able to, over a 2-year period, gradually get her business up and running. So next slide. So step one is back of the napkin plan. So if you look at Sophie's back of the napkin plan is that she wanted to fix smartphones, tablets, and maybe appliances, maybe later. So she's like, what is my credit score? She's looking at, from a marketing perspective, what do I need a website? She's figuring out who is her competition, who's going to help her find these answers. And then, self-reflection, is she ready for this? So next slide. So step one, these are the key questions that you're going to ask yourself. What are the benefits, whether they're monetary or non-monetary, do I want to get from my business? What side of business do I need to build to achieve those benefits? Have I identified a real business opportunity on which I can capitalize? And then what assets do I need to purchase, rent, or lease? And then will I need to hire anybody? So again, if you have the participation guide, you can see page 7. These will give you some questions and answers at the beginning of your planning process. Next slide. So step 2, if Sophia is looking at her resource plan, which again, if you have a participation guide, it's pages 8 and 9. So Sophia is figuring out what are her startup costs for the first 6 months of her business. So she realizes she needs space, equipment, and supplies. So she has calculated out to be $18,250. Skill development. So she's probably assuming she doesn't necessarily have the current skills to exercise everything of running her own business. So she realizes that will cost her $1,100 to take those courses to increase her skills. For staff, she needs an accountant and a bookkeeper. She's pegged that at $1,200. She realizes she's going to have to pay insurance and taxes. So she's estimated that to be $450. So she realizes that she needs $21,000. So living expenses are not included in a resource plan. So step 2 of the resource plan continued. And again, if you have the participation guide, you can see this at the bottom of page 9. Sophia's estimated startup cost is $21,000. Sophia's share, meaning she has $7,000 on hand that she can invest in the business, whether that's in her savings or her rainy day account. So now Sophie realizes she needs to raise another $14,000 to launch her business. So step 2 in resource planning ideas, she can interview stakeholders, competitors, and other business owners for ideas. So she's looking for what is the ideal location. That's very important when you're looking at a brick and mortar. Location is the number one thing that will make you successful or unsuccessful. Then she realizes locating discounted equipment and supplies. This is an undervalued resource, realizing that a lot of businesses go out of business. People retire, move, don't want to do it anymore. So you can shop around to get that. There's pros and cons of buying in bulk, realizing that obviously if you buy a lot of inventory, it'll cost you lower, but too much inventory, it affects cash flow. It's called the capital is basically stagnated, and this can affect your cash flow, whether it's 60, 90, or 120 days. realizing that what are the fair wages and benefits for the employees you're going to hire, understanding the federal, state, local, and sales taxes. There's insurance implications. And then you have pay for services such as marketing, which be website design and hosting. You might pay more upfront or pay higher monthly installments. And then realizing, am I ready to go on to the next step? So step 3, the business plan. Again, you can see this in pages 13 and 14 in your participation guide. Tells a story that makes your idea come alive. This convinces others to make a stake in you. So you do projects 3 years into the future, clearly outline business development plans and financial terms. So your business plan is going to tell a story to an investor, realizing how much they need to sell, what is your, your gross profit. And they're looking at that and figuring out, how long is it going to take for me to get my money back from you? Or if I'm taking an equity stake, how long is it going to take me to start turning a profit on my initial investment into your company? So step 3, Sophia's business plan. So Sophia and her family worked hard to raise her credit score. Sophie met with a banker several times to get feedback and advice. She took a class on a business plan writing. Sophie shared her plan with family and friends. The process took time, but it paid off. Family and friends funded her startup cause. So those people would be considered what we call angel investors. So source of financial support, again, if you have a participation guide, you can see page 15. So you have angel investors, bootstrapping. That means that you basically take income from your full-time job and you put it in, so you self-finance. There are crowdsourcing, so those are websites around the world where you can put your business idea and or project, and then it's complete strangers watching a 30-second video of you doing your business pitch, and then they'll put money in. Obviously there's family and friends. There's something called incubators. Again, these are all across the United States and most major cities. And these are where people who want to launch businesses collaborate, get together. A lot of VCs and big banks actually finance these, and they're all looking for the next Google. Then local and state economic development organizations. So there's a lot of like grants, especially for underserved, minority, LGBTQ, and veterans. Then you have what's called peer-to-peer lending. There's small business loans that can be through different levels of government. And then a lot of banks have small business loans. And then the most lucrative, which be venture capital. So what does it mean to be strategic? If you want to meet up with this sailboat, which direction would you steer? You plan for the future. You have to plan for change. You have to learn from the past, including mistakes. You always want to minimize your risk, and you have to have an action plan that helps you stay strategic. So if you look at step 4, Sophia's action plan, again, this is in page 16 of your participation guide. These are the goals. So she had what we consider SMART goals. So achieve an average monthly customer count of 500 within 3 months. Tasks. She had to advertise in business journals, increase social media outreach, identify effective marketing opportunities. She determined that the success criteria would be 400 customers in month 1, 450 in month 2, and then 500 in month 3. So she's trying to be strategic, realizing over a 3-month, even though 400 would be initially below her initial 500, but she's realizing by month 3 she could get there. Time frame. She's given herself until September. Resources. So she's budgeted $300 for an ad, flyers in college common areas and coffee shops, and website upgrades. She also wants to reduce her rental cost by 10% by the end of this year. So by doing that, she hopes to negotiate terms with a landlord. She wants to work with a lawyer to draw up a contract. So she's hoping a 2-year lease equals 10% rent reduction. She's given herself until December 31st. Resources, legal fees. She needs to find out how much. So SMART goals stands for specific. That's state with goal precisely. Measurable. Good measurements let you know when a goal is completed. Attainable. The resources needed to complete the goal are within your reach. Relevant. The goal is applicable to your business. Time-based. The goal has a completion date or time frame. So summary of the key points. There's more than one way to plan. The planning process helps refine your ideas and prevents errors. Types of plans need to change as your business needs change. Make time to write a business plan. Engage stakeholders in the process. Even when you get the investment, you need to plan strategically to ensure healthy business. Summary of benefits and risks. The benefits of planning. Know where you are and where you're going. You'll be able to save time and money. You need to ask great questions. You have to develop stakeholders in the process. Make logical decisions. Measure progress on tangible goals. Always focus on your finances. The risks of not planning, you're going to wasted time and money. You'll do too much and you'll miss opportunities to delegate. You risk what we call burnout. You'll confuse or alienate your investors, and you fail to do the math to quantify success in practical business terms. So that's the learning process of planning. So we'll take any final questions at this time. Okay, so I have a question here. People are asking, um, how do you assess how much to do for a website? So for a small to mid-sized business that's starting, you really don't need more than 5 pages. Um, if you want to bootstrap from one of the points that we mentioned, you can really do it yourself. There are free templates called Wix. It's very, very easy to do. The only cost would be hosting and getting your domain name, and you're talking like a few $100s a month. It's very, very simple. It's as easy as making a PowerPoint presentation. If you have an investor and you want to pay someone to do it, you're looking for 5 to 7 pages of a cost of about 2,500 to 3,000.
I got a merchant actually asking me a question right now. Do you have any tools, for example, just to be able to evaluate your own target audience whenever it comes to planning?
So you have to do research. So depending, you can get a lot of basically free business advice. A lot of the local universities, you can approach them where you have students that are doing their undergrads or their MBAs will help you do research. They'll help you to find what is the size of the market that you're looking. So if we go back to Sophia with her cell phone business, they'll be able to tell you what is the demographic, how many people, how many 18 to 24-year olds there are who have the highest concentration in the United States of cell phones. So sometimes they'll do that for you. You can also get free resources from different levels of government. They have what are called constituency um, offices, and um, they can also give you free resources. And any state has any employment office, they also have free resources for those. There's a lot of resources, again, like we said, that your bank, um, a lot of them will give you resources to help you launch your own business.
Great, great. And there must be also, because every, I would say, small business owners or even business owners, they tend to think that they have the idea of the century, right? But sometimes there are other, I would say, companies which would basically do the same as they are doing, right?
Yeah.
Do you have as well any tools just to try and understand the competition?
I mean, you can get into competitive analysis. You can always offer the same product in a saturated market. The way that I can tell you you're going to beat everybody else is through customer service. If you have the same product and then you're selling it at the same price or the same service, you can always beat people on better customer service. And small businesses and merchants, that's why they're always more successful over larger corporations.
Great.
So, well, I want to thank everybody for attending our webinar. The CNPP is aiming to help small business owners. Feel free to contact us at any time. Our contact information is on the chat. Our information is also on our website. You can also check out the CNPP website through the SNB or for the US PAC.